Welcome back to the vlog. We're going to be in Sacramento, California, playing at Capital Casino, our favorite place to play. We joined the 1-3 game, buying for $500. It doesn't take us long before we get in the action with 3-4 suited in the small blind. We call, and then it gets raised by the big blind player to 30 more. He probably has a pretty strong hand. I was planning a fold, but we end up getting 2 more callers. So for $30, closing the action on a well-disguised hand. If I flop something big, I think I can win a huge pot here. So it's kind of speculative. I put in the 30 bucks, and we get immediately rewarded by flopping a straight. It comes 7-6-5 with 2 hearts. I check it over. The initial aggressor checks, and the next player ends up betting $100. Very big bet. He probably is looking for some sort of protection. If he has a bigger straight, so be it. He gets called by the player at the end of the table. And if you're going to be playing 4-3 and flopping a straight, you're not going to be going anywhere. So I shove. I'm trying to get all those draws. Maybe a flush draw to fold, maybe an open-ender to fold. If they have 2 pair or a set, they're probably going to call. And of course, if they have a bigger straight than me, I'm just screwed. Anyway, the guy tanks for a while, looks back at his hand. I think he's going to end up folding. But after some thought, he decides that he's just going to go with it. He has about $227 remaining in his stack, so his total is $327. The player at the end of the table has about $100 more than he does. He tanks for a while and also finally decides on a call. So first pot of the day, we get involved in a $1,300 pot. We got a straight, and the 9 comes on the turn, a 10 on the river. That 9 is awful. I roll over my straight, and the player shows me 6-8 of spades. The other player at the end of the table had 7-5, so he flopped 2 pair. Yeah, not exactly the way you want to start off a day. Well, I add 500 to my stack, so we got about 700 in front of us. Pick up 5-4 suited for middle position, open for a raise to 15. I end up getting 5 callers for the 15, and we see a flop that comes King 6-4. There is 1 spade. Here, against so many players, I just decided just to check, see what the action is. The player who just won the last pot looks like he's going to bet 50, but then gives us a discount to $30. And I go, wow, that's kind of nice of him. I do got a pair, a backdoor straight draw, and a backdoor flush draw. So I decided, what the heck, let's go ahead and put in an extra 30 bucks. And we get a 2 of spades on the turn. I check it over to him, planning on check raising rather large on a small bet, but he bets $150, which is over the size of the pot, and I'm thinking, wow, I wasn't expecting that. So what do? Do I check raise here? Maybe get him off of a lone king? Maybe he has a king with a diamond flush draw? Oh man, but maybe he flopped a set. I don't know. He's not going to be folding a set. Well, I'm just going to put in the call. It's probably not the best play, but that's what I did. River card comes as the queen of spades, and here I'm debating whether I should try to check raise him or just lead into him. Now, he called pretty light that first hand when he had 8-6, second pair and an open-ender. So I think he'll probably call light. So I just go ahead and jam. After looking at this, I don't think it's the correct play. I think just checking it to him and letting him take the lead is fine, or just making a standard size bet of maybe 300 bucks would have worked. Anyway, he tanks for a very long time and finally ends up folding, and I feel really bad about that because I really, really wanted to get some of my money back from that previous hand. Anyway, we ended up winning the pot, so that's a good thing. Off to the next hand. All right, after several limpers, we decided to limp in from the button with pocket fives, just hoping to set mine here and hit something. Big blind player doesn't want any of that. He decides to make it $25. This is a different player from the previous 2 hands. We have he left and another one sat down. This one plays a little bit better. Anyway, it's kind of questionable, but I decided I'm going to go set mine because both the player in seat 9 and the player to my right have very deep stacks, and I got about 900 in mine. So if I hit it, I think I can win a big pot. Well, flop comes out ace 3 deuce with 2 diamonds. Not the greatest flop in the world, but when both players check to me, I can represent an ace fairly easily here. So I'm going to go ahead and bet $40, put some pressure on that other player. He takes a peek back at his hand. I think he has like a big pair with a diamond in it. So if he picks up a diamond draw, he's not going to be going anywhere. But if not, I think I can get him off of it. He calls. We see a turn card of a 7 of clubs. No diamond there. I think I just continue again, half-size pot bet, and he'll let it go. So I bet $80, and he lets it go. He later told me that he had pocket kings. All right, we're back in the green. We're up $50. In the big blind with ace king offsuit, the small blind puts in a raise to 21. I make it 65. There was a $6 straddle on this hand. Small blind goes ahead and makes the call. Type of hands I'm putting on are medium-sized pairs, of course, and maybe big cards like ace king, ace queen, king queen, you know, the usual stuff. Flop comes out 664 rainbow. Pretty good flop for ace king. If he doesn't have a pair, I'm going to be in really good shape. He checks it over. I'm going to put out a c-bet for $50. He seems to like that sizing, so he goes ahead and decides to make the call. Well, if I don't hit an ace or a king, I just hope it's a complete blank. Turn card comes as a 10 of spades. He quickly checks again, and here I have two options. I can either check it back and call down if he bets, or just go ahead and fire and deny equity. I don't know. I think after looking at this, I like the checking this part back a little bit better, but he ends up folding, and we end up winning. There's a $6 straddle. Undergun player opens for 25, and I, in my ultimate wisdom, just decide to call the 25 from the small blind, which brings the under the gun player in. Flop comes out king 5-3 rainbow. Beautiful flop for ace king. I go ahead and check. It gets checked to the initial raiser for $50. And here, with that such a dry board, I decided just to put in the call. To my surprise, the player behind me calls rather quickly. It has me a little bit concerned, wishing I would have re-raised pre-flop now. Turn card comes ace of clubs. I got top two. I check. Player to my left checks. Initial better ends up checking the back. I'm feeling like I missed an opportunity here, but the player who's on my left seems like he's very strong. So I decided just to check it to him here when the 10 of clubs comes out. Not sure what he has. I think maybe he flopped a set, maybe pocket fives or pocket threes. I really wish I would have raised. I look back to see if I have the king of clubs, which I do. So he doesn't have top pair and a flush draw. Like he couldn't back into that. So I'm going to have to pay him off, but I definitely don't like it. I put in the chips, and he shows me 4 deuce of spades. I really screwed this one up. All right, I'm in the small blind again. There's a $6 straddle. Player opens for $18. Fairly strong player. Comes to me in the small blind. I got king queen suited. He would be opening with a lot of possible hands here. I think king queen is ahead of his range. So I go ahead and I re-raise to $60. These under the gun straddler gets out of the way, and it's back to the initial opener, and he puts in the call. So we're going heads up to a flop, which comes 10-5 deuce with 2 diamonds and 1 club. So I got 2 overs, a backdoor straight, and a backdoor flush draw. I'm going to go ahead and fire, trying to get some of his ace highs to fold. Don't really expect him to continue unless he somehow connects with the board. So I bet $60. He doesn't think too long before putting in the call. Could be a flush draw I'm up against, could be a 10. Turn card comes as a 9 of clubs. So I got a straight flush draw and 2 overcards. And I'm going to try to price out any of his flush draws or his ace highs. I'm just going to go with this thing. I jam all in for his remaining stack. He has about $300 left in his stack. If he has a 10, I think he's going to end up folding. If he has a flush draw, he's going to probably fold. If he has some sort of overpair, I think that he's going to maybe fold. So I expect a lot of folds coming out, but he makes the call, hoping to get there. River card's a 10 of diamonds. I told him I miss, and he rolls over queen, jack of diamonds for the flush. Well, he flopped a flush draw. He wasn't going to be going anywhere. Turned an open-ender, definitely not going anywhere. And with 2 overcards, I understand his call completely. Unfortunately for us, he got there, and he won a nice pot, but that's just the way it goes some days. Well, after that last hand, I am a little bit tilted, a little bit frustrated, and then this happened. Got 2 limpers come in. I got king 10 offsuit. Not a great hand, of course. I raised to 30, just trying to punish the limpers. The player in seat 9 puts in the quick call. He has a very large stack and just been holding over me so far today, but I am going to get back at him eventually, so this is the hand. With $70 in, we head off to a flop that comes ace, queen, jack with 2 hearts. What a beautiful flop. I go ahead and do a standard c-bet, $25. Hopefully he has an ace in his hand, maybe queen jack or something he can pay me off with. He puts in the quick call. Turn card comes, oh God, king of hearts. Can you think of a worse card than that? I decided to check it just to see what he was going to do. I thought he would try to bluff me if he could, and if he has a 10, well, hopefully I can keep the pot a little bit smaller and just call him down. I think the best play here is probably just go ahead and do a standard continuation bet, and if you get raised, then you get raised. Anyway, I put in $100 after he bets, and a river card comes to the 4 diamonds, a blank. If he doesn't have a flush, I got it. He jams all in, I call, and he shows me the 4 deuce of hearts. So his favorite hand against me is 4 deuce, and my favorite hand against him is just folding. So anyway, he stacks me. Yeah, I should probably leave after this point. But if you leave, you can never get even. So let's give it another shot. Buy in for another $1,000. Play for a little bit longer. Here I'm in the big blind. I get ace 7 suited, and we got $6 straddle, 6-way action. I'm just going to see a flop. Hopefully we can hit something good. Flop comes out 9-8-5 with 2 clubs. Nut flush draw, gut shot straight draw, and overcard if you want to consider an ace any good. It gets checked to the player at the end of the table who bets small for $15. Player to my right calls, and for $15, I'm just going to call, realize my equity. Hopefully some other people may put in a loose call or something, and I can get a really good pot odds, which is exactly what happens. The other 2 players call also. Let's just hit a club. I saw a black queen, but it was the wrong suit. Anyway, I check it. It ends up getting checked all the way around, so I get a free look. Come on, 1 club. 9 of spades on the end. Not ideal, of course. We brick out again. This is like one of several hands that I just couldn't connect with today. Player ends up making a bet. He ended up showing 9-8 of diamonds. So, yeah, even a check raise wouldn't have done any good on that flop. On my final hand, I pick up jacks and raise with it. I get called by a player who has an ace. Flop comes ace high, and I try to get him off of it, and I punt another $250 and call it quits for the day. Well, I played like shit today. I tilted off some money. I punted off some money. And all in all, just a really crappy day. I did run into it on a few hands where I just got coolered, but still, I lost my composure near the end. Should have left after that king-queen hand and would have been down $600. But instead, I ended up losing almost $1,400 for the day. Not as bad for the week because I happened to win 2 other days, but still, losing $1,400 in a 1-3 game never feels good, and it definitely doesn't feel good when you have to relive it and post a vlog about it. But you know what they say, if you never have a bad day, you'll never be able to appreciate fully the good days. So This is just a small bump in the road. We'll get back on course. Our monthly totals are still okay. Yearly totals are still okay. So we'll move on. So until next time, good luck at the tables, and we'll see you back here soon.